Hey y'all, what's up? So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do nails at home in under an hour, especially if you just want to do like a basic like nude set, something quick and easy if you have to go somewhere or you're like, fuck, my nails ain't done and I look a mess right now, like how my nails look right now in the video. And yeah, this is just how I do it at home pretty quickly. Instead of building a full nail, I just do a full cover tip with some polygel, cure that on. It's pretty fast. You'll see how I do it later on in the video, but I do have to give credit where it's due. Femi Beauty made up this method, and she calls it the lazy girl method, and she and Emily Susanna are pretty much where I've learned how to do all of this stuff with my nails. Not just this, but they have a bunch of other tips and tricks in store. So just if you want to learn more about polygel and you don't really know where to start, I advise to just check those guys out. Well, they're girls, but just check them out because they have really good videos and they both do their nails at home. So Emily Susanna is like me. She just does her own nails pretty much for videos. I don't know if she's ever done somebody else's, but she normally, like, most of the time it's just her doing her own nails. So if that's what you plan on doing, I advise you to check her out. But if you want to do clients and stuff like that, you can also check out Femi Beauty. She has some more tips about clients and stuff, just more than Emily does, just because she doesn't do them. But I pretty much just started off by dehydrating and priming the nails, and now I'm picking out my nail sizes, and I'll show you in a second what you have to do to pick out the size. You just want to make sure that you have some room in the nail between your natural nail and the apex, or I guess you could say like the fake nail. Just make sure you have enough room in there to have some product in between, because you're going to be placing the polygel in between the nail and you're not going to be taking the nail off. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you have enough room for the polygel. Okay, so now I'm just taking some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and the lemon chiffon shade. It's from a kit from a cart. The kit doesn't come with any lights or like anything besides the polygels, but I will link that below. It's a jelly kit, so the colors are a bit translucent. As you can see, the yellow one honestly is the most opaque one. Like, this one is the most colorful, I guess. If opaque just means, like, I'm sure you know what opaque means. If you don't, Google it. But, so yeah, most of them come out pretty clear, especially doing the lazy girl method, because you aren't using nearly as much polygel as you would be if you're building a nail, because you already have that structure from your fake nail. But that doesn't really affect anything if you're using regular polygels that aren't jelly, because, like, if they're not jelly, then they're not going to be translucent. So no matter how thick or thin you put it on, it's still going to have its color. But for this, it's not really a problem, just because like I said, the yellow one is more opaque. But so now I'm just pretty much taking the polygel. I don't base coat the inside of the gel tip, like the full cover tip. But you could, if you wanted to, you can also like take your e-file or a hand file, buffer, whatever, and just put it in there and make some scratches, because it'll hold on to the nail a little bit better. I'm pretty a light-handed person, and my job doesn't require me to do a lot of heavy-handed stuff. I just work on a computer and I file paper and stuff like that. But if you have like a more hands-on job, like my job is pretty hands-on, but not to the point where my nails aren't going to break or anything. So if you do have a job where your nails are prone to breaking, I advise you to do some kind of prepping to the full cover tip, just to make sure that it doesn't pop off of your polygel nail, because the tip is what really gives the polygel, with this method at least, the strength it needs to not break because of how little polygel you're putting in there. But yeah, so when I first started doing this method, I was putting too much in the nail, and then I would get like overflowing of polygel. So just be mindful of how much you're putting in there. You don't really need a lot, I promise you. But yeah, right here I kind of messed up. I had an air bubble, so I just pushed that down into my nail, but that's kind of irrelevant. Every time that I do put on a nail, I will flash cure it on, just because it's easy for these to like slip around and kind of come off the nail if you don't get it cured on quickly. It is a little difficult at first, but I promise it only took me one time to get the hang of it. Like the second time I did it, I already learned all my mistakes. And just make sure you keep note. Anything that you realize that you could have done a little differently, just take note of that mentally, and you'll always improve. Like that's just kind of my biggest tip, is just to make sure that you always acknowledge what you could have done better. Like it's not like you're dissing yourself or anything. Just like everyone can always improve, so just always keep mental note. But yeah, so just make sure you flash cure that onto your nails. As you can see, like if I was just keeping these with just the polygel and I didn't paint or decorate them at all, like this is so fast. And like if you just do this with just polygel, I promise you it'll take you probably like 20 to 40 minutes tops. Say if you're just beginning, probably 40 minutes. But if you're like already familiar with polygel texture and kind of how to work with it, then this will really only take you like 20 minutes to do. So I really recommend this, especially for beginners, just because you don't have to worry. And if you don't really care about learning how to like form a nail and like making it the right thickness and all that stuff, like if you just want to do your own nails at home to save money, and just because you like to do stuff like that, then I really recommend this, because it's very friendly to really anybody, beginners and people who are familiar with it. And yeah, I forget where I was going with this, but I think I've said enough. So I'll continue with the music. Y'all, editing me here, I just want to apologize. I'm like clanking my nails a whole lot in this video. Like it's the awkwardness for me, bitch. Like, okay, I have a personality, I promise you that, but I'm just a little shy right now, okay? So forgive me. Another thing that I will always recommend to keep on hand is rubbing alcohol, because even if you prefer the slip solution for doing your nails with, it gets sticky. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes, like now that I'm getting used to polygel, I've been doing it since like July of 2020, so I haven't been doing it very long, but I've gotten used to it a little bit, to the point where I kind of can keep the stickiness and the mess to a minimum. But at the end of the day, when I first started, like, it was a sticky ass mess, and it's frustrating, especially if you don't have anything to, like, clean it off with, and you don't want to wash your hands a million times, because I've heard that washing your hands a lot with gel, when you're working with gel, polish, and gel in general, is not good. I mean, I do it, but I always make sure to wipe down my nails with the alcohol after I wash my hands to cleanse it, just of any, like, oils from the soap and stuff like that. But that you can just clean off your hands with some paper towel and rubbing alcohol, so I advise to always keep that around. But I applied the second nails off camera just because it's the same process. And now I'm just filing with my hand file to get the shape down. And honestly, like, this is all you could do. Like, you could just stop here and then top coat and boom, you're done. But I do like to, for some reason, this is just personal preference, I do like to go over the full cover tip with my e-file just to create some scratches in there. And then I'll buff it. Just because if any especially if you're a beginner, like, you could probably accidentally cure polygel on top of it. I've done it before. I didn't do it in this video, but it's like, it's easy to do. So if you get polygel or anything, like, cured onto your full cover tip and you want to get it off, I say just honestly go over it, even if you go over it with a hand file, because you don't need to go in with any crazy bits or anything. You just go in with, like, a sanding band. That's what I use, at least. So if you just use your hand file or your e-file and a sanding band and go over the nail, then you should be A1, and then top coat it. But I also use my e-file just to get in the cuticles really good, because honestly, like, if you don't, it depends. Like, you can get a nice clean cuticle with this method, but you have to, like, know how to do it. I still don't sometimes, and, like, there will be a little bit of a lip of, like, where you can see that top nail is, like, a little bit lifted off of the polygel. But if you just file that off, like, you don't see the difference between the nail and the polygel because it's clear, obviously. So yeah, that's why I go over it with a sanding band, but you absolutely do not have to. You just have to be a little bit cleaner with your application. But either way, you're going to spend some kind of time being cleaner, or you're going to spend some kind of time filing. So whatever one that you prefer to do, I would just do whatever you prefer. Also, I just want to apologize to y'all because of the shitty ass angle I'm about to get into right now, buffing my nails, but I had to see. I might get some, like, little reading glasses or something from fucking the Dollar Tree just so I can, like, stop pulling my hand out of frame, but I'm gonna learn from my mistake, and I will keep it in mind next time I take a video. Now that I am all filed and buffed, I'm just going to go and clean off my nails with some rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to put some polish down on my nails and decorate them. And if you guys want to know where I got anything in this video from, well, I got it all off of Amazon, but if you want to know the links, just check in the description below. I will always link the stuff down below. And the polish that I'm using today is Beetles number 827, and honestly, like, this polish is good. Like I say, like, I am still a beginner, so whenever I say it's good for beginners, bitch, I'm talking to me too, okay? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't need to be spending a lot of money on products, especially when I'm only doing my own nails. Like, don't get something super cheap that like you've never seen nobody use, and like because it could be bad for you or whatever. Like it could just be some crazy shit. But like I've seen reviews of all this stuff, so I'm not scared of it. But it is cheap, and like for beginners, you don't need to be spending a fucking arm and a leg to get products unless you want to. Like, do you? But personally, I just don't have the money to be doing that. So, but that's kind of off topic. This polish though, I do like all the colors in the kit that I bought. I only have one kit so far, but the glitters in it are really pretty. The only downside to the glitters is that they're like, it could just be my application too. I'm not 100% positive, but they do come out a little chunky. You can see it in this, but they're still super pretty. But yeah, now I'm just going in with some gems and some little stars and stuff like that. So I'm going to stop talking now, but I will link all this stuff down below. And I just want to say thanks so much for watching. And please, if you haven't already and you're new here, give me a subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also a like if you don't mind. And yeah, thanks again for watching. And I'll probably be back in maybe a week or two with another video.